Evan hit the ground hard enough to knock the air clean out of his chest, the sound sharp and hollow, like a basketball slamming against concrete. Except this time, it wasn't a game, and no one was cheering. For one frozen second, the playground went silent. Then the laughter started. Not cruel laughter. Not mocking laughter. The kind of shocked, confused laughter that happens when adults fall in front of children and dignity shatters faster than skin on gravel. Evan lay there, staring up at a washed-out October sky, maple leaves drifting lazily above him, thinking one brutal thought, 36 years old, and I just wiped out in front of a playground full of kids. The town was Richwood Falls, Ohio, the kind of place where people still waved from porches and kids rode bikes until the streetlights blinked on. The playground sat at the center of Hollis Park, surrounded by modest two-story homes with vinyl siding, American flags clipped to railings, pumpkins on stoops, and wind chimes clicking softly in the breeze. It was mid-October, hoodie weather. The air smelled like fallen leaves, hot dogs from a nearby concession stand, and the faint metallic scent of playground equipment warming under weak afternoon sun. Parents clustered on benches with coffee cups and folding chairs. Teenagers leaned against fences scrolling phones. Toddlers toddled. Kids screamed joyfully. And Evan, unemployed, quietly discouraged, and pretending life was fine, had just tripped over a loose rubber mat near the jungle gym while trying to demonstrate a cool shortcut across the balance beams. Evan wasn't lazy. That was the cruel part. He had worked for 12 years as an assistant facilities supervisor at a regional distribution warehouse. Steady hours, modest pay, predictable life. When automation upgrades came, his position was phased out, a phrase that sounded polite but felt like being erased. Since then, Evan's days were filled with job boards, rejection emails that started with, "We appreciate your interest," and the quiet humiliation of telling friends, "I'm exploring options." Today, he was babysitting his niece Maddie Brooks, age 8, all knees, freckles, and confidence, while his sister worked a double shift at the hospital. Evan wanted to be the fun uncle, the capable one, the adult who still had momentum. Instead, he was the guy sprawled on playground mulch, pride bruised harder than his elbow. Uncle Evan just fell like a potato. The announcement came from Caleb Monroe, age 9, missing 2 front teeth, standing on top of the slide like a town crier delivering breaking news. A ripple of giggles spread. Evan groaned and rolled onto his side, inspecting his scraped palm. His jeans were dusty. His hoodie was scuffed. His confidence, completely face-planted. A woman rushed over, Rachel Kim, early 40s, practical sneakers, hair pulled back, PTA energy in human form. "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" she asked. Evan sat up slowly. "Yeah, totally meant to do that." That earned louder laughter. Maddie ran over, eyes wide. "Uncle Evan, you okay?" That looked dramatic. "Dramatic is my brand," Evan muttered. Something interesting happened next. The kids didn't scatter. They didn't lose interest. They gathered. A loose semicircle of children formed, different ages, different backgrounds, staring at Evan with curiosity, not judgment. Caleb tilted his head. "My dad fell off a ladder last year." Another kid chimed in. "My mom trips a lot." A smaller boy, Lucas Herrera, age 6, serious expression, said, "Falling doesn't mean you quit." Evan blinked. That line landed harder than the fall. Evan stood up, brushed himself off, and attempted dignity. Failed slightly when a leaf stuck to his back. A teenage girl snorted. Evan bowed theatrically. "Thank you, I'll be here all afternoon." Rachel Kim laughed. "Honestly, we all needed that." Evan smiled weakly, but inside, something shifted. Because here's the truth. He hadn't just fallen on a playground. He'd fallen in life, quietly, privately, repeatedly, and no one had clapped. Until now. As Maddie dragged him toward the swings, Evan noticed something he'd ignored before. Every kid here fell. Off monkey bars. Off bikes. Off balance beams. And every single one of them got back up. No resumes. No shame. No internal monologues. Just scraped knees and stubborn courage. Maddie climbed the highest rung of the jungle gym, hesitated, and froze. "I can't," she said. Evan looked up, the same height that had terrified him minutes ago. "Yeah, you can," he said automatically. "What if I fall?" Evan paused. "Then, honestly, you might. But look, I fell too. Still here." Maddie smiled. And climbed. Evan sat back on the bench, elbow stinging, heart heavier, but clearer. The sky was turning gold. Leaves skittered across pavement. Kids laughed without fear of failure. And Evan Brooks, 36, white American male, short brown hair, light stubble, tired but kind eyes, flannel shirt, quiet resilience, 36, unemployed, embarrassed, and unexpectedly inspired, realized something quietly powerful. Courage doesn't come from confidence. Confidence comes after you fall, and stand anyway. The scrape on Evan Brooks, 36, white American male, short brown hair, light stubble, tired but kind eyes, flannel shirt, quiet resilience, elbow stung more the next morning than it had the day before. That was how he knew it was real, not serious enough for sympathy, not minor enough to ignore. The kind of pain that reminded you something happened. He stood in his small kitchen in Ridgewood Falls, sunlight cutting through half-closed blinds, illuminating dust motes and last night's unpaid bills spread across the counter. The coffee maker gurgled weakly, like it didn't believe in mornings either. Evan rolled his sleeve up and studied the scab. It looked ridiculous. And somehow, important. The playground embarrassment had followed him home in flashes. Caleb's announcement, Maddie's worried eyes, the kids watching him fall and then get up. He'd laughed it off then, but now, alone, the moment replayed differently. Not humiliating. Honest. Evan sat at the small kitchen table, mismatched chair legs wobbling slightly. His phone buzzed with another rejection email. He didn't open it. For once, he didn't feel like folding inward. Instead, something unexpected rose up. Stubbornness, maybe. Or clarity. If kids could fall publicly and keep going, why had he decided adults weren't allowed to? Outside, Ridgewood Falls moved at its familiar pace. A mail truck rolled by. A neighbor jogged with earbuds in. Leaves skidded across sidewalks like they were late for something. Evan pulled on a clean flannel, jeans, and the same worn sneakers from yesterday. He looked like a man between chapters, not broken, not polished, just unfinished. He grabbed a notebook from a drawer. Blank pages. Heavy spine. All right, he said out loud, to no one. Let's fall forward. By late afternoon, Evan found himself back at Hollis Park. Not to babysit. Not to prove anything. Just to sit. Kids played as usual. Parents talked. Life moved on, indifferent, forgiving. Rachel Kim waved from a bench. Hey, you survived. Evan grinned. Barely. She scooted over. You okay today? Yeah, he said, and for the first time in a while, he meant it. Caleb ran past, tripped, rolled, popped back up, and kept sprinting without even checking his knees. Evan laughed softly. That kid's unstoppable. Rachel nodded. Kids don't negotiate with fear. They acknowledge it and keep moving. That line stuck. Maddie showed up a little later with her mom. She ran straight to Evan. Guess what? She said. I climbed all the way across the monkey bars today. Evan's chest tightened. Seriously? Yeah, I almost fell. But I remembered you. That hit harder than any motivational quote ever could. Evan didn't suddenly get a job offer. Life didn't wrap itself neatly. Instead, something quieter happened. He started volunteering at the park, helping maintain equipment, organizing weekend cleanups. It wasn't glamorous, but it mattered. He talked to parents, teenagers, retirees. And one afternoon, while tightening bolts on a swing set, Mark Ellison, a local contractor in his late 40s, struck up a conversation. You're handy, Mark said. I've fallen enough times to know where things break, Evan replied. Mark laughed. Come by my office Monday. Might have something for you. No promises. Just possibility. The following Saturday, Evan tripped again. On purpose this time, demonstrating to a group of kids how not to jump off the slide. They laughed. So did he. Falling had lost its power. Weeks later, Evan stood in a reflective vest, clipboard in hand, supervising a small playground renovation project funded by the town. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But he was moving. Rachel passed by with coffee. You look different. Evan smiled. Yeah, turns out courage doesn't roar. Sometimes it trips, laughs, and keeps showing up. As the sun dipped low, kids ran across the playground, fearless, loud, alive. Evan watched from the bench where he'd once sat embarrassed. Now, he sat grounded. The narrator's tone softened. Sometimes the bravest thing an adult can do is remember how children survive falling. Not by avoiding it, but by refusing to let it be the end. Fade out.
Daily happiness and motivation is hitting in. Like and subscribe.